Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of Wednesday Night OWCP Chats with
Chris and Gini.
Chris and Gini. We are coming
Hey, she's taking like
you.
4 weeks off, so tonight she gets a little bit of a hard time.
We came on 2 minutes early because I'm going to share. Please hold your questions.
Nah, bring your questions. We just won't get to them right away.
Yeah, we are live in Fort Lauderdale. We did
Ron
training
Jackson, what's up?
for Dr. Henry in Fort Lauderdale. So we have Federal Injury Centers of Fort Lauderdale. Today we finished up with Federal Injury Centers of Miami. Tomorrow we will be in Naples. Hello, guys. We will be in Naples, and we're getting ready to
Hey, Jerry.
get ready with Federal Injury Centers of Naples. We're going to have about 20 locations or more before the end of the year. So,
Hey, you mean in Florida?
yeah.
That's probably all, maybe just 20.
Yeah, so if you see our background, we're just sitting at this hotel suite. We Jimmy rigged our tripod with a pot and a garbage bucket thing,
And a
coffee cup.
Coffee cup holding the phone up with the video.
All right, I'm still feeling yucky. Got post-nasal drip. It's gross. But tonight is always one of the best lives that we always do, so that you know. Again, I'm Jeannie. This is Chris, husband and wife. We educate federal employees.
She's the wife. I'm the husband.
I would hope so. We educate federal employees and federal employees only, not state work comp, but federal work comp. Gizmo is at home tonight. I know. I reeled you guys in by putting that picture that Gizmo is going to be chewing out
reeled you in.
management.
No, Giz is taking a break tonight. He's digging to China someplace.
He's
in,
probably at the
Odessa.
house digging somewhere.
Yeah.
But what we'd like you guys to do, since this is a huge, important topic.
Yeah, even though we're taking management out behind the woodshed, and that's where they belong. Really, they're always out there. I just go back there and give them the what for every once in a while. So I'll be doing that tonight. But even though the topic is about management, the topic is for you. Because it's about what they're doing to you.
Yes.
And why they need to stop it, and what the rules, laws, and regulations are to give you some backing so they, cut that out.
So we're not saying that every management and supervisor and postmasters are all
We're not saying they're all bad.
nasty and ugly. There are just
A couple of you on here are supervisors, and
more
you're not bad.
of them that are not nice than normal. And whenever we do this topic on management, we get last time we did one. I'm not saying last time in this year, but we did one. It had 21,000 views.
So let's get this one to 40 or 50,000, because the information I'm going to give tonight is so valuable that if you'll share it with someone else, like right now, hit the share button. It's going to be valuable to them as well. But the issue is that this information is only as good as the number of people that it gets to.
Yeah.
And so, if I were talking in a room by myself, what good is that? That's kind of what it feels like when there's not enough of you here. So please do me a favor, just take a minute and share this and get your friends on. And let's get a huge audience on watching me take management out behind the woodshed. Like I said, they're all there right now. I mean, they live back there. But
they live back there.
Yeah, they live
Did you
behind
guys
the
like
woodshed.
my woodshed? I tried to find the nicest, creepiest woodshed for our ad. So
yeah, that's their other home. They live back there, and I just go back there occasionally, and like I said, and give them the what for.
All right,
tonight I'm going to give them a whole bunch of what fors.
Understand that you guys.
Rich is watching. Hey, Rich, I owe you a phone call. I saw that I missed a call from you, so I'll call you back. Sorry about that, but I'm not ignoring you. I'm traveling training, but I'm with you. Ron Speakman, what's up?
No, I forgot what I was saying. Anyway.
It's okay. I'll say some other stuff.
Yeah. So, as federal employees, you guys have rights and rules, and there are regulations that management are supposed to follow when it comes to filing your work injury. Just today, I just showed Chris, because he doesn't really go on Facebook much, that, I posted and somebody said, yeah, this is always a great topic. And why? Because a supervisor denied a woman's leave to go to her OBGYN because she's pregnant, and she wound up stabbing the supervisor a couple times.
So listen, don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that.
Don't get a mugshot online by stabbing a supervisor. Look, I don't know what was going on with that person, but to stab somebody, two things happened. One, a really bad situation that made someone snap, and two, someone snapped. So don't stab people ever. That's a rule of mine. If you hear me say a word that sounds violent, I don't mean it that way, because I'm not violent at all. Never have been. I'm not starting tonight. If something I say sounds that way, though, that's okay. But I don't mean it that way. So definitely don't go stab people.
Yeah.
Ever.
So,
don't stab anybody. Don't stab yourself. Don't stab people.
all right.
I think as a general rule, we should all adopt a rule where we don't stab people. I mean, don't you think?
No.
Hey, babe, you don't want to stab people,
I'm
right?
pleading the fifth.
Hey, you don't want to stab anybody sitting next to you, right?
Pleading
Yeah, we don't want to get stabbed.
All right, guys. I'm going to have Chris go ahead and start talking about some rules, laws, and code. When he says CFR, it means Code of Federal Regulations. Sometimes when you guys are messaging us, I'll send you a code because you'll say my supervisor was refusing to sign my paperwork. So with that said,
With that said, let me tell you some things. Now that it's my turn, I'm not going to talk to you at all right now about rules, laws, and regulations. I have a better story. So we're in Fort Lauderdale, and the whole reason I'm here and I'm able to talk to you, that I have you as an audience to learn this stuff, is because of her. And that's true. You know, many of you know this story, but if you're new here, I'll tell it to you real quick.
quick.
It won't be quick at all. She said one night, she goes, "Hey, why don't we do a Facebook Live video on workers' comp?" Hi, Mary. And I said, "A Facebook Live video on workers' comp? No, we're not doing that. Nobody's going to come and watch that. Who's going to watch a 1-hour show," and I'm using air quotes, "on workers' comp?" She said, "Well, no, just trust me." And I didn't, but we did it anyways. And it turns out it works out. More than 500,000 people a year watch this. That was all her. I told you that to say this. We're in Fort Lauderdale. This is where we met. I met Gini in Fort Lauderdale. What, 5 years ago, 6 years ago? Something like that?
Something like that. We're going to be together 5 years, married for 2 in August.
And when we met, we were at this restaurant called Aruba, where I hope to go again tonight. Just for old time's sake, we'll probably go. But I remember being in there, and as many words as you've heard me talk, like I talk a lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't put any words together and make a sentence that night. Like, none of them were coming out in any right order. They were jumbled and idiotic, because that was what my brain was doing. I was sitting like across the room, and like we knew each other a little bit because we had just met like 5 minutes earlier. And I remember going, how do I use words? I can't speak to this girl. And I couldn't. The rest of the night I just like winked and stuff. I didn't actually wink either. I think I was like blinking.
It was like,
I was blinking and hoped she took it as a wink. Anyways, fast forward, one day I was like, all right, that's fine. Now you have to marry me. And here we are. But we met in Fort Lauderdale. So that's a nice story. I thought I'd just tell you because people don't know it.
I didn't want to marry him.
Yes, she did. Badly. I mean, so bad. Like, she wanted it so bad. It was, like, it hurt, right? A little bit. That's how bad you want it. So bad it hurt. Anyway, so we're back here in Fort Lauderdale now, and it's Woodshed night. And I thought you should know that we're here watching this show because I met her in Fort Lauderdale 5 or 6 years ago.
Such a dork.
Otherwise, we
Anyways,
wouldn't even be here.
we are talking about management. Rules and laws and the regulations they have to follow when you are injured on the job. The ways they get in trouble, because there's ways that you guys don't even know. We get all of our information not only with Chris's knowledge, but we have a lot of national and state presidents that give us information to get across to you guys, because we could reach more of you guys than they can, especially in union meetings and things like that. So, let's get started.
You ever heard the saying, when you're a hammer, everything looks like a nail?
No.
Really? You haven't heard that? Even your dad's probably heard that.
I'm sure he has.
So tonight, I'm going to outfit you with a bunch of hammers. And all the hammers are the rules, laws, and regulations that you can use. I don't want you to use hammers on people any more than I want you to use knives. It's just a figure of speech. But hopefully after this, everything that you hear will sound like a nail. Okay, because I'm going to give you hammers to use on them. Whoa. Oh.
Don't forget to share.
Yeah, are you sharing? Because if you haven't shared it yet, you've missed the most important part.
Yeah, you still have your chance to be a $100 share winner. please,
Oh,
you
talk
guys
about
are
that, please, will you?
What?
Talk about the $100 thing.
Yeah, we do a share winner for the person that shares the most for the month receives a $100 gift card of your choice.
Yeah. If you're not sure where you want your gift cards to, I'll tell you what I like the most, and go from there.
Also, you don't have to send us stars, okay?
But we sure appreciate it. Those are nice.
We don't take any money from anybody doing
Never have,
this.
never will.
So that's why the stars thing is not enabled. So you could send all your stars, but we won't be cashing in on them.
Yeah, send all the stars you want.
No, don't.
But on this page, it won't equate to dollars because we
Yeah.
don't want your money. We just want your eyeballs and your ears.
So when it comes to management, a lot of you have love-hate relationships with the managers, and we understand that.
Love to hate?
Yeah. And not all of them are thinking of you and your best interest. And I see this all the time. If something was to happen to you, they could care less. Most of them.
Well, I think that's a general rule.
And you will be replaced the next day. So remember that.
Yeah, so when you're gone because you can't do the job because you're hurt, somebody's going to take your place.
Yeah.
So what's happening, and the reason that comes up, is too many of you say, I'm worried about what my manager thinks. I just have to tough this thing out. Well, this is what I teach. How are you going to make it to retirement if you can't make it through your next shift at work? Okay? You can't make it through your next shift at work if you can't find a doctor that gets help, the help that you need. If you're not filling out your forms, if you don't get a CA-16, if you don't have COP, if you miss your deadlines, if the supervisors, bully you into not reporting, all those things lead to you ending up on disability where you get 40% of your income by year 2. Who wants that? Okay, look, give me a bunch of mad faces if you're worried that you're going to end up on a 40% of your income disability situation.
Yeah.
Because we can avoid it. 100% avoidable. All you have to do is what I tell you to do. And we get people still too often that tell Gini, what you're saying doesn't really match up with what my supervisor says, so I need to listen to my supervisor. Okay, I'm going to take you out to the woodshed for a minute because that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. We don't listen to the supervisor unless what the supervisor says agrees with what I said. If it's not in 100% in line with what I said, it's wrong.
Yeah, and if you guys know, if you got the books in there, Chris has chapter 16, the rules, laws, and regulations. So,
that's in volume 1.
Oh, yeah, it's in volume 1. But if you have it and they ever say anything to you, just turn to the page. And if they don't believe what's in the book, they can look up that Code of Federal Regulations, the CFR
you
code.
can Google it.
So
don't fall for the trick of believing management cares about you and has your best interest in mind. Because when they give you the wrong information, that's a clue. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go through the most common situations that I see management screwing you over. And I'm going to tell you what to do about it. And I'm going to give you the rules, laws, and regulations to protect yourself.
Yeah.
This is where you share again. You got to get your friends on board. Let people know this is happening. My second book, and the books are called Breaking OWCP. If you don't have it, you can go to breakingowcp.com and order them. They're roughly like $8.97 a piece if you buy them together, and there's 2 of them. So it's like $17.95 if you buy them both together. I pay for shipping. You don't. So shipping is free, and the books are nearly free. I just charge enough so that when I run out, I can print some more. That's pretty much it. So go out and get Breaking OWCP's Volume 1 and 2 as a bundle for $17.95 and free shipping. All the stuff that I'm going to talk about tonight is in those books. There's a lot of stuff in there like how to calculate your schedule award. Who would like to know? I raised my hand because if I was you, I'd want to know. Who would like to know in advance what your schedule award dollar amount would be? Well, that's in Volume 2. I created a worksheet so that you can figure it out yourself because too many people are asking me, how much money can I get with blank, with whatever. So I'm telling you how to figure that out yourself so you don't have to wait on anyone else. And in chapter 16 in the first book, Rules, Laws, and Regulations, I'm telling you the rules that supervisors are breaking, okay, the laws they're breaking. And in some cases, what happens? What's the result of that for the supervisor if you do your job?
Yeah.
The hammer.
Let's get started.
So let's do it. So if you want to follow along, it starts on page 121 in the Black Book, the first volume of Breaking OWCP. And I'm going to go through these laws one by one. and then we're going to just kind of discuss why they're here and what you're going to do about it. So on page 122, it says 20 CFR, remember Code of Federal Regulations, 20 CFR 10.300. It says, letter A, when an employee sustains a work-related traumatic injury, which is a CA1, where you were injured in a single shift and you needed to fill out a CA1 form, that requires medical exam, medical treatment, or both, the employer shall authorize such exam and or treatment by issuing a form CA16. And letter B says the employer shall issue the 16 within 4 hours of the claimed injury. This is what everyone does wrong. They don't report their injury on time, and so their supervisor doesn't give them a CA16. Or they do report within 7 days. That's on time. And if you know me, the soonest possible time to do anything is when?
Now.
Now. So you report your injuries now. The second they happen, stop what you're doing, call your supervisor, walk over to your supervisor, limp over, crawl over. I don't care. Get on a cart and push yourself over. Do what it takes, okay? Report now. Get your CA16 because you have 7 days to report and still get a CA16. But what happens is supervisors say, yeah, you don't have to have that. Or your injury isn't severe enough. Or I don't know what that form is. Or I don't know how to find them because, they've never learned how to use Google, so they can't find one. And it's not surprising. I mean, there's a lot of things supervisors can't do. Make coffee, toast bread, find CA16s on Google. There's a lot of stuff they can't do,
Make coffee and bread, okay.
Yeah, toast and bread's tough. Boil water. But if you can tell them how to use Google, you can get a CA16 every single time. So do that, because here's the deal. People don't get a CA16, and so they start making health decisions based on finances. That's the first big problem. When I see people whose lives spiraled out of control after a work injury, the number one thing is they didn't get a CA16. What is the CA16? It pays all of your medical bills for the first 60 days after you're injured with a CA1 claim. So that means for 60 days you're not paying anybody. The government makes all the payments, and your claim's not accepted. And you never have to pay the money back if your claim's not accepted. That's a big deal. But employers don't give you a CA16. So the first woodshed moment we have is supervisors. Don't do that, okay? You're required to give a CA16. You're required to give them a CA16 within 4 hours of the claimed injury. The Code of Federal Regulations, 20 CFR 10.300B said so. I didn't say so. I'm just repeating the law.
Yep.
And for those of you out there watching, if you have book 1, you go to page 122 and 123, and when your supervisor says, I don't have to give you one, you show it to them and say, yeah, but what about this law? And then when they don't give it to you, you file a grievance. Mm-hmm. Now, if you're one of the unions that don't want to, let me say that differently. If you're the one union who doesn't want to file grievances, then you as an individual go do it yourself. If you're all the other unions who like filing grievances and think that's a great day because you get to file one, then we agree. And you file a grievance on this one because you didn't get your CA16. If you don't get it within 4 hours, file a grievance.
Yes.
Okay? Get your CA16. Whatever it takes, don't take no for an answer because it pays all of your medical bills. So many people stop getting care. They don't get health care at all because they can't afford it. You can't afford it, which means you don't get better. You don't get better, which means you can't make it through your next shift at work. That's it. You can't make it through work.
Yeah.
And when you don't get your claim accepted because you picked a bad doctor, and we'll go over that in a minute, then your supervisor can fire you because your claim's not accepted. And all of that is avoidable, and it starts by getting a CA16 so you have a chance, a fighting chance at least, to get better without you paying the money. So this is the first woodshed moment. We don't ever have a CA1 injury that doesn't get a CA16. And we do whatever it takes. And union stewards out there, union presidents out there, I'm talking to you now. It is your job. I'm tasking you with the responsibility of not letting any of your members go without a CA16. It's your job. If I was in your shoes, it would be the only thing I work on every day. I'd make sure all my members have a CA16 if they get hurt.
Yep.
It's that critically important. Your job as union reps, and I love you, and those of you that are here know I swear by the union, so I'm a big fan. So if this sounds like I'm taking you out behind the woodshed, I don't know what to tell you. But it's true. You've got to fight for your people. Your folks don't know how to fight for themselves in a lot of instances. No offense to all you that are out there. But management takes advantage of the people. They don't give them CA16s, and without a CA16, they are destined for failure in OWCP.
Yeah.
So that's why this is the first thing, that's the first law I talk about in my book, is because getting a CA-16 is the most critical thing that can happen. The second most critical thing that can happen is getting COP, continuation of pay. And on a CA-1 claim, you're eligible to get 45 days of time off. This is the other problem, is that people don't elect COP because they don't understand what that is. And in box 15 of the CA-1, they take sick and annual leave because everyone knows what that is.
Yeah.
Well, COP gives you 45 days of time off if you're hurt with a CA-1 injury, a thing that happened in a single shift. If you reported within 7 days, then you're eligible for a CA-16 and COP. Because the rule for COP is you're eligible for it. Sorry. You're eligible for a CA-16 if you report your injury within 30 days. Well, if you report within 7, you also reported within 30. So the next problem people have is they don't have COP, so they don't have any way to be off from work. They're using their sick and annual leave. They're maximizing their Family Medical Leave Act time. And at some point, you're not getting paid for your time off. And so people start deciding to go back to work hurt.
Yep.
Because they can't stay out of work, because you got to be able to make your mortgage and make your car payments. These things don't stop just because you can't work.
Yeah, listen, if you can't put food on the table, pay your car payment, pay your mortgage, your rent, and buy food to put on the table for your family because of management, think about it for a second. Don't you think you want them?
Yeah, you think management is worried about how they're going to get through their next shift, or how they're going to put food on their table, or whether or not their rent's going to get paid? I don't think so.
Yeah.
Because they didn't do what you did and got hurt, and they don't care about you.
Yeah.
Now, look, if you're a manager on here that does care about people, thank God for you. I'm glad you're here. But even you know that you're the exception to the rule. Mm-hmm. And I damn sure know.
We have friends that are supervisors and in management positions, and they understand because they know what the rules and the laws are. So
yeah,
they
and
don't
those of you that are out there that are our
that.
friends and you're a supervisor, definitely not talking about you, because you're the right person.
There's some of you asking, how can I get the book? You go to www.breakingowcp.com.
Yeah.
And the books are actually on sale right now.
Yeah, they're $8.97 a piece if you buy them both together. And there's no reason to get one without the other. Honestly, I wish I would have written them both at the same time, but the first book I wrote was the second book I ever wrote, and I wasn't very experienced writing books, obviously. It was hard. It took me 3 days to finish it and get it printed.
Yeah.
Okay, that wasn't really hard. I was being facetious. But the second book, when I wrote it, I thought, gosh, man, I should have wrote this stuff in the first book, so I wrote the second one. But as a result of there being two, I made them really cheap, so you can get them both.
All right, I'm going to read some of the questions because I know a lot of you are
and there's a lot more woodshed stuff I'm going to talk about. So far, the only role we discuss is the CA-16. And I can't stress enough, you must get it, and you must elect COP.
Yeah, somebody asked, what is this? So I'm Gini, this is Chris. We educate federal employees in all agencies, all unions nationwide, USPS, AFGE.
Okay, so she just said an agency and a union. We mix them up.
Yeah, we mix them up.
But if whatever union you're in, we're with you.
Yeah.
We're 100% with you. Even if you're the one union that's not with us, we're with you.
All right.
We love you, even though you may not love us.
Funny, I call my brother this. I call my brother Lily. Lily says the management in the USPS is terrible. All they care about you are you working, no matter how hurt you're feeling.
That's right. Well, what we're doing here is saying, too bad. We're not doing that anymore. We don't work through the pain. We go get better. You give us a CA-16, and I elect COP, and I do what it takes to get myself better so I can make it to retirement.
Yep. Angela Weiss said, if I filed workers' comp for occupational disease and it has been approved, if injury puts me out of work again, what do I do? File another CA-16, 17?
No. So if you have a CA-2 claim, which happened over 2 or more shifts, and management puts you out of work, you have got to have your claim accepted. If your claim is accepted, they've got to give you time off. They pay for your time off. And when your doctor writes restrictions on your CA-17, management's required to give you a limited duty assignment that fits within that. And if they don't, you get paid to be home. I mean, boom, but you've got to get your claim approved. If it's not approved, you can't have any of that stuff happen like I just said.
Melinda Malone, you said it took you a week to get your paperwork. So if you guys are looking for the forms to file, you can either go on www.federalinjurycenters.com.
3 W's, not 2.
Did I say, www.
You could do more W's.
OWCPchats.com, and you go on both of the sites, both websites, you can find it under forms. So you don't need to wait for a supervisor to give them to you. But what we do recommend is for you to sit with the supervisor, make sure they don't write false information on your paperwork, because it has happened and it gets you pretty screwed if you don't review it and don't get copies of everything and make sure they're not trying to lie about any of the information that's on there.
So there's going to be a lot of questions, but I'll let you ask a couple like you just did, then I'm going to go to the next thing because I got a lot of stuff to cover. Woodshed night always takes a while. This will probably go longer than an hour, so hang in there, but it's all going to be good stuff.
Share, share, share.
Yeah. So that same code of federal regulations and I'll reread it to you. Give me a second. 20 CFR 10.300. 20 CFR 10.300. Letter D is a joke, and you all know it. So as I read this, feel free and hit the laughing emoji, and there needs to be more. You can go ahead and start hitting them. It's definitely laughable. Letter D says the employer should advise the employee of the right to his or her initial choice of physician. The employer shall allow the employee to select a qualified physician. So bring out the laughs, because here in this rule it says that supervisors have to tell you have the right to choose your own doctor. Yes. They have to tell you that you can pick any doctor you want. It's right here in 20 CFR 10.300 letter D.
Not force you to go to the
Not force you to go
doctor.
to the VA doctor if you're a VA employee, or the base, clinic if you're a base employee, or the urgent care or ER that they like the most because they get claims denied if you're a postal employee.
Yeah.
You have the right to choose your own doctor. And letter D of this law, it's funny, the law is about the CA-16, but they go ahead and put in here letter D. Also, the employer should advise the employee of the right to his or her initial choice of physician, and the employer shall means absolutely yes, shall allow the employee to select a qualified physician.
Shall, yes.
This doesn't happen. So this is the next problem. You go to the wrong doctors all the time. It's not your fault. You're trying. But it's a failure. You cannot go to the wrong doctors, because the wrong doctors definitely always get your claim denied. I was just training the doctor in Miami today, and you all are going to love Dr. Gugliani. You're going to love her. I'm telling you right now, you will awesome. Adore her.
Yeah.
As I met her, I was like, everybody's going to love you more than they love me, which is okay with me. She's lovable. You're going to love her. I'm telling you right now, it's going to be awesome. It's a lock. But I told her, I said, Doc, if you get a claim denied, you did that. It was your fault.
That's true.
Denied claims are the fault of the doctor every time. It means they wrote bad reports. So I told her, you don't write bad reports. She's like, I've never written a report. I know, but you don't write bad ones.
Exactly.
That's just how it goes. That's for other doctors. We don't do that. You can go anywhere and get a denied claim. Every doctor will get your claim denied. 100% fact, you will get your claim denied unless you go to a trained doctor.
Yep.
And where are the trained doctors?
Everywhere.
Okay, I didn't coach her on the right answers. That's why she said everywhere.
You coached
I just
me.
said that the bad doctors are everywhere.
Oh.
The trained doctors are federal injury centers.
Federal injury centers. Okay. I'm still not feeling good, guys. And I'm going to read this question now.
No, hold on, because I'm not done with this.
Okay.
So here's the deal. Supervisors are always telling you have to go to their doctor. And you think that's true. And in fact, we even had somebody who we said, no, you can choose whatever doctor you want. And they said, that's not what my supervisor said, so I'm going to do what they said. Okay, I can't stop that because, you're making a bad decision. Go for it. Let's see what happens, right? Somebody said federal injury centers doesn't do anything but win. That's a fact. We have more W's than everybody else.
www.
We have way more W's than everybody else because W's are wins, okay? But anyways, what's happening is your supervisors, and this is another woodshed moment, supervisors, stop that shit, okay? You don't tell people where to go, period. They get to choose. We had a lady, no, it was a guy, who was, he was a VA employee in Miami years ago. I'll never forget this. And Jennifer at the time was president of the AFGE.
Good
there.
old Jennifer.
We love Jennifer.
Yeah, for AFGE.
Jennifer, I have this picture of her. Anyway, I'll tell the story, man. We got her out of bed and said, I know it's 11 o'clock at night. Get out of bed, get dressed, do what you got to do, and come down here. Because we were in Atlanta.
Yeah, we were in Atlanta, and Mr. Kelly, as those of
we're
you guys
having
know,
dinner with him.
He's national president for AFGE, and we went to go have dinner with him, and he's like, do you guys know Jennifer is here?
It's like, come on, I didn't know she was here. So anyways, Jennifer got out of bed and came down and hung out. We're good friends, but she calls me, Jennifer. Actually, she called you. Mm-hmm. And she said, one of my members is in front of their supervisor right now, and the supervisor said, you chose your own doctor. You went around me. I'm going to make sure you get fired.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yep.
And Jennifer called and said, what do we do? Boom. I sent her the rule. And the person looked at his text message and went to the phone. He goes, hey, what about this? And the supervisor said, oh, yeah, I wasn't actually going to fire you. I was just upset. You're right. You can choose your own doctor.
It was bad.
You know what I said? That's right. Nobody's getting fired today.
Yeah.
And I've said that so many times since. Over the last 5 or 6 years, nobody's getting fired today. And you're not either, okay? When you know the rules, that's your best defense. That's your hammer. Your best hammer. It's like the best hammer you could ever build a house with is the rules. So this one says the employer cannot force you to go to their doctor. You have the right to choose your own.
Yeah.
And the law is pretty clear, and I'm about to wrap this up because I want to show you a couple other things. There's a document called the CA 810. The CA 810 says an employee is entitled to initial choice of physician, and it also says agency personnel may not interfere with the employee's right to choose. May not interfere with the employee's right to choose a physician, nor may they require an employee to go to a physician who is employed by or under contract with the agency. Mm-hmm. That's screaming VA.
Wins.
So if you're a VA employee, they can't make you go to a VA doctor. That's the rule, okay? So I just read you like three different rules, okay, that relate to you can choose your own doctor. Stop being bullied into going to a doctor to get your claim denied.
Yep.
Stop doing that to yourself. You get a CA-16, you elect continuation of pay, and you choose your own damn doctor, because if you choose any other doctor or you go to the one they tell you to go to, it's all denied.
Now, if you have to go to one of them, it's because your arm is broken and your leg is broken and it's hanging off.
Yeah, you got bit by a dog and you're gushing blood, or you need a, whatever. Go do that, but don't go back. Go at the next day, go find your own doctor.
Yeah.
Or go to federalinjurycenters.com and see if there's one near you. There's likely one near you.
And for the ones that are the supervisors that are telling employees that you cannot go to a chiro, it is not true.
You know, I play poker a lot, and
it's not true. You can go to a chiropractic office.
We have a guy, Larry, that plays with us back in Texas. And Larry's in his 60s. He's a nice guy. Nice older guy. Larry, if you're watching, I didn't just call you an old
Larry.
man. I didn't call you an old man. I said you're a nice older guy. But when somebody plays a hand of poker, he'll say this. He'll go, bullshit. Bullshit. Well, that's how I feel.
About what?
The supervisors.
Oh. Anyway, yes. Let's get on to the questions. There's a lot. Misty Alexis says, my postmaster took 5 days to give me my CA-16. I asked on a Friday and they gave it to me the following Wednesday. Then when she finally...
That sounds like more than 4 hours to me.
Yes.
Okay.
Then when she finally did give it to me, she dated it as if she gave it to me on the date I asked.
File a grievance.
Yes. Even though she gave one to you.
So I want you to file a grievance if it is given to you in 4 hours and 1 minute. 1 minute after 4 hours, I want you to file a grievance. And if you'll go to OWCPchats.com, www.owcpchats.com. I've got a form on there that will help you get a CA-16 from your supervisor. It's a form that I made. It's not official. It's my form. I created it. But I created it knowing the problems you're dealing with, and on there are the rules, the laws, the regulations. So your supervisor will read it and see that they have 4 hours to give it to you.
Yeah.
And then there's a section on there where you can write what time you requested it. And there's a section on what time you got it. And if that time is 4 hours and 1 minute or more, file a grievance.
Yep.
You let your supervisors know you're on the clock. And if you'd like to start a stopwatch and put it in their face and say, look, this is running, you got 4 hours. Do it, I don't care.
Here's the thing, stop being intimidated.
Don't be bullied.
Stop thinking they're going to fire you, because they can't if you have a work injury.
So they can, but you're going to get your job back.
Yeah.
And you're going to get all the time back. It'll be like you're on vacation. If your union will fight for you, you're going to be in good shape if you follow the rules.
Don't let them bully you. Don't let them harass you. Don't let them threaten you. None of that.
And I said that in the first book. Stop being bullied.
Yeah.
Don't be bullied, okay?
Yeah.
You and the law and me are way bigger than any individual supervisor with bad intentions.
Yep. Darlene Oliver says, I'm out on a back injury and have been hobbling since October. Now my knees are all messed up. The doctor can't get DOL to approve getting it looked at. What do I do?
Your doctor has no idea what they're doing. Let us know where you're at. And also send us a private message on Facebook. And somebody's going to get back with you and give you the path to success. We're going to get you all squared away. Your doctor is definitely making mistakes if they don't know what to do next. What you have is consequential injuries. You've been hobbling, and now you've got other things going on as a result of hobbling around from a back injury. Those new things are consequential to the back injury and should be added to your back injury claim.
Yeah.
If your doctor doesn't know what they're doing, then you know what, get in line. You're just one of hundreds of thousands of people that are at the wrong doctor.
Yep. Jessica said, I'm out due to foot injury and need another surgery. I'm trying to get it approved.
Okay. There wasn't a question there, but I'll tell you, you can't have surgery if your diagnosis is one that's not surgical. So double check that you have the right diagnosis for surgery. If someone has like an ankle sprain, it's not surgical. That just heals.
Yeah.
But if you have like a torn ligament, that is. So make sure you have the right diagnosis.
Kelly said, question, sorry if I'm a bit off topic. I'm on LWAP, OWCP.
No problem.
I do not understand this considering they are fully aware of the medical narrative, etc. that are in place. Help.
Okay, so you don't understand it. And I heard everything said. Ask me a question. I'm not sure what the issue is. So if your claim is accepted, and you're off work because your doctor filled out a CA-17. The CA-17 takes you off of work. Your doctor will need to write a disability narrative to explain why you're off of work. Attach that to your CA-7 and you'll get paid. So if there's another question in there, please ask me and I'll do a better job responding to you.
Rich Ray, how's
What's up,
it
Rich?
going?
Thanks for being here, Rich.
He says, to all, if management fails to provide you a CA1, a CA2, a CA16, or fail to pay COP, please inbox me with your email. I have grievance templates. We are winning the grievances with these templates. And if anyone has anything to share, please do. NALC City Letter Carriers.
That's what I'm talking about. So
Yeah.
Rich Ray's in Staten Island. He's the president of the letter carriers there. I think his local's got, like 750 members?
Mm-hmm.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Rich. Sorry. But that's a big local, and he's there fighting for them and you at the same time. So if you've got something he can help you with, that's what he's saying is like, upload it. Let him know.
Yeah.
Thanks, Rich. Appreciate that.
Renee Marie said, when you don't use COP immediately, how do you later activate it?
You gotta, okay, so that's a fine question. When you report your injury within 30 days, you're eligible for COP. But remember, and only on a CA1, not a CA2. So remember that when you have an injury that happened in a single shift, report it now.
Yeah.
You know, the CA10, it's called what a federal employee should do when injured at work. The very first thing there says report as soon as possible. That's so poorly worded. That as soon as possible means something different to me and her and to you. To some people, as soon as possible is like, when I'm done mowing the yard. For others, it's, I don't know, if I feel like it. I don't know how to do it, so I'm going to learn some stuff, and then as soon as I can after that, well, what happens is you waste time and you lose your CA-16, you lose your COP. So report immediately and then get your COP.
Sarah Williams says, what if you're out because you have a kidney issue that happened on the job?
Okay, so I'm not sure how a kidney issue happens on the job, but if you are, you fill out the appropriate forms, either the CA1 or CA2, and you write a great detailed employee statement and explain why your job caused your kidney issue, and then go to the doctor and have them get it accepted.
Yeah.
I haven't seen kidney issues be approved, but I can visualize like getting hit in the back that could cause kidney issues.
Or severe dehydration.
But now if it's severe dehydration, you got to prove that it happened because of the job. It's a tough one to prove.
Remember, guys, we're in summer, and in certain places in the United States, we've been watching the news. Some places are like 111 in Vegas.
Yeah.
Keep hydrated. Get things to make you cool down. Get those little neck wraps if you're a letter carrier. If you're a nurse,
find some shade. Bring an ice chest full of water with you all day long.
Yeah.
Don't overheat. It's really hard, but if you have a kidney issue, whatever your issue is, You fill out the appropriate form, either a CA1 or CA2, and move forward with the right doctor.
Yeah. Felix says, great information as always. Big thanks to both of you. Hugs from Puerto Rico.
Hey, what's up?
Okay. Melissa Ross said, CA16 is for medical coverage only for traumatic injury on a CA1 claim. So if you're a CA2 occupational injury, you don't get a CA16. She's absolutely correct. But in case, if your case is approved, your medical is covered and you can file to be reimbursed for medical expenses paid before your case was approved.
Melissa Ross has been paying attention. Melissa's a friend of ours, so
yeah.
Thank you for that. Good job.
Let's see. Joshua, can you put the link in the comments? What link in the comments?
Because, yeah, we can definitely put a link. Let us know what link you're looking for. OWCP chats or Breaking OWCP. We'll put them both.
Yeah. Rich Ray's email is Richie, RICHIE, Ray 99 @gmail. Melinda Malone said, I'm being told they won't start my COP until the doctor took me off of work, which was 2 weeks after the accident because of their delay in getting me the CA1 and 16.
All right, so COP doesn't actually kick in until you're off work. So anytime you're off work, that's when it kicks in anyway. So you get 45 days of COP, and you only use it if you're off work.
Kim said, can you get workers' comp if you retire or resign?
Well, you can, but you can't report an injury after you resign or retire. It needed to be something you reported prior to that.
Our MDO says she is the only one that can file the papers. Their management lady. Is that true?
Okay, so the rule is this. When you fill out a CA1 or a CA2 or a CA7 to get paid, you have to turn it in to management. They fill out the second page. Then they have, on a CA1 or 2, 10 days to turn that in to DOL. On a CA7, they have 5 days to turn it in. So it does need to go through management to get to Department of Labor.
Yep. Melissa said, Kelly, I think it's ridiculous that we get injured on the job. We get put in an LWOP status and lost time and benefits. I pray one day this changes.
Yeah, I know. I was just training a doctor today in Miami, like I said, and I told her, the best way for people to get paid is to be on the clock, so to clock in. Because when you're off the clock using a CA7 for LWOP, you have to jump through hoops to get paid. You have to attach a CA17 duty status report, a CA20 attending physician report. You have to attach a printout of any appointments you had where you're off work and you need to go to the doctor, and what's called a disability narrative, where the doctor is explaining in a narrative report why you're off work in the first place. If you don't attach all those things, you're never getting paid. So those are the hoops you have to jump through. So getting on the clock is better. When your case is accepted, your job is required to give you a limited duty assignment where you can go clock in. How wonderful is that? The other thing you can do is stop driving an hour, 2 hours to get to the doctor. If you're driving hours to get to the doctor, cut it out. Find somebody closer. If you live in Florida and you drive more than 30 minutes to go to the doctor, you're just not paying attention. Because we have 17 offices in Florida. There's no reason to drive an hour to go anywhere. You should just find the one closest to you. That way you're not off the clock.
Yeah.
Okay, you go at a time that's convenient for you, and if you're clocked in, you're getting paid. You're not jumping through hoops. When you're driving an hour or two to get to the doctor, you're jumping through tons of hoops to get paid for your time off work.
Yeah. Joshua said, it's hard at the post office when you're just an RCA and not a regular carrier employee.
But you're still a federal employee, and you're still covered by all these rules I'm talking about. So let me go through some more rules. You can do some more questions. I'm never going to get through these. It's woodshed night, so supervisors need to hear the rules are breaking. So sometimes a supervisor says that they need copies, or that they don't have to give you copies of your CA1 or CA2. That's a serious problem for you, because on the CA1, the supervisor can write in 4 different places. They can write something bad about you and get your case denied. And if you have a copy of all of the pages of the CA1, your doctor can write a report that refutes the supervisor's negative statements. So the Code of Federal Regulations 20 CFR 10.110, letter A, says the employer shall complete their portion of the CA1 or 2 no more than 10 days after receipt of notice from the employee. And the employer shall also complete the receipt and give it to the employee along with copies of both sides of CA1 and CA2. So this law says they are required to give you a copy of everything. When you don't get a copy of everything, my doctors can't refute the bad things they say about you. And when my doctors can refute the bad things they say, your claim gets accepted, period. So don't allow your supervisor to not give you copies of everything. And those of you that fill things out on eComp, figure it out. Okay, this law doesn't say along with copies of both sides of Form CA1 or Form CA2 unless it's filled out by eComp. It doesn't say that. It says get copies. So get copies.
Yep.
And if they don't give you copies, file a grievance because it's your right as a federal employee to have copies. The law, the Code of Federal Regulations says so. So that's a problem. And then the supervisor will say, especially on a CA2, they're going to say, you know what, we can't turn your CA2 paperwork in until we get something from your doctor proving that you're hurt. No. The law says they have, and I just read it, they have 10 days to turn that in, period. Right? It doesn't say 10 days unless you need to wait on documentation. It says turn it in. You can't get a 9-digit claim number from DOL unless they turn that stuff in.
Exactly.
Okay, so we don't wait to have stuff turned in because we want to get better faster. So they have 10 days to turn it in. And the Code of Federal Regulations 20 CFR 10.110 letter C says the employer should not wait for submittal of supporting evidence before sending the form to OWCP.
Yep.
So they say, I'm not turning this in until you give me documentation. But the law says don't do that. Supervisors, don't do that. Just follow the law. Look, you make yourself out to be such an ass when you break the law. And you're doing it. They're doing it all the time. You turn these forms in now. The soonest possible time to do anything is now. So that applies to you too. You have 10 days to turn it in, but just get it turned in. Turn it in. You don't have a right to medical documentation. You're not a doctor anyways. You don't have a license. That stuff doesn't mean anything to you. When you read the medical documentation, it doesn't mean anything to you. It's like reading Japanese. And unless you read Japanese, that's a foreign language just like healthcare.
Remember, there's a HIPAA violation, and if the supervisors are requesting that you give them your medical documentation, don't. One of the state presidents told us if that becomes a problem where they're discussing your medical things on the floor or at the VA or at the prison, you can contact Department of Justice and they will handle that if it gets out of hand.
Damn. So DOJ. Yeah, you did say that. So they don't have a right to your medical documentation. In fact, they only have a right to what's on a CA-17 and a CA-20. And I was telling the doctor today, if somebody from management calls your office, hang up on them.
Yeah.
Just hang up.
Do not take their call.
Because the management does not have a right to speak to your doctor outside of your knowledge.
Nope.
So we tell our doctors, hang up. Just click. Hey, this is Supervisor so-and-so from USPS. Click. We're not talking to you. We do not talk to management. Our doctors do not talk to management because they don't have a right to hear it. They have a right to a CA-17 and a CA-20. That's it. That's it. This stuff doesn't mean anything to them. Like, if I said to them, herniated disc, they don't know what that is. They think they know, but what does it really mean to them? And what are the implications of a herniated disc? They don't know. So that's why we don't give them any medical records. They can't understand it anyways.
Yep. Queen TT Focused said, my area is denying my workers' compensation and now I'm forced to go back to work. I bid on a station position while being out of work and was awarded and asked for reasonable accommodation until surgery was denied as well and was placed back as an unassigned regular. What are my options?
I'm just reading.
Even though I read it out loud.
Okay. All right, so your claim has to be accepted. And I don't think, based on what I read, that it is. And if it is, it's not accepted for the right diagnosis anyways because you're also waiting on surgery. They'll only give you surgery on a diagnosis that's surgical. Like a sprain is not surgical, but a torn ligament is, for example. And so when your claim is approved, they're required to give you limited duty assignments, okay, that match your CA-17 restrictions. That's the best thing. The best way for me to answer this is that when your claim is approved, they're required to follow your CA-17, and they're required to give you a limited duty assignment within 50 miles of your residence where you live. If that didn't answer your question, please help me answer it better.
Yeah. Diane Green said, hi, from Western New York. Happy to report my reconsideration appeal was accepted.
Good job.
Thank you for writing your book and for all your videos, keeping so many of us informed. Management is a nightmare, but DOL has been a nasty joke.
That's right. They're a nightmare, And
but the
I'm the
reason
thing that
they're-
wakes you up out of it and gives you a good, happy feeling when you're drinking your coffee. If you know the rules, management's not a nightmare to you, you're a nightmare to them.
And DOL isn't a nightmare. It's the doctor. We keep telling you guys this. DOL
You're going to the wrong doctor.
DOL is denying you because you're going to the wrong doctor. We keep telling you this over and over.
And they're denying you because you're going to the wrong doctor. It's not the doctor. It's the doctor's work. The work is bad. They're writing bad narrative reports, and they're not putting in the words necessary to get a claim accepted. And they're not getting the right diagnosis accepted either.
Yeah.
And it's causing all kinds of problems, including you can't get surgery because the diagnosis is bad.
Renee Rose said, mine wouldn't offer me water if I was on fire. Yeah, we hear that.
Yeah, I know. All right, so hold on. Let me go a couple other roles. Okay, next thing. It's not too late. It's too late?
No.
It's not too late. What do I mean? Too many of you think you can't report your injury because it's too late. I ask all the time when I'm in a group of people, how long do you have to report your injury? Well, earlier I said 7 days you can get a CA-16. I said 30 days you can be eligible for COP and a CA-16, right? But you have 3 years to report your injury. 3. And people say, and we even had this, somebody said, no, that's not what my supervisor said. It's not what my union president said, right? It was the union president. Hello? You didn't hear me, did you?
No.
You didn't hear me at all. A union president told somebody that 3 years wasn't correct. Is that right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so just leave it at that. Yes. Union presidents. 3 years, come on. Look, whatever your deal is, the rules are the rules. They have 3 years to report their injuries. And why is that important? Because you can report your injuries 3 years later and get paid back for time that you took off.
Yep.
And get paid back for mileage you drove. And get paid back for money you spent using your health insurance. You have 3 years to go back and recoup that. I know people, we know somebody that got $25,000 back, $6,500 back, and countless other people.
After 8 years, too.
Yeah, countless other people that got thousands of dollars back because they realized it wasn't too late.
Yeah.
It's not too late. So the Code of Federal Regulations, 20 CFR 10.100, says that for injuries sustained on or after September of 1974, so like all of us for sure, a notice of injury must be filed within 3 years of the injury. That's it. 3 years. Okay? Boom. 3 freaking years. Not 72 hours, not 3 days, which is 72 hours, not 2 weeks, not 30 days, not 45 days, not 60 days, not anything else but 3 years. You have 3 years. In the U.S. Code, 5 U.S.C. 8122 says, an original claim for compensation for disability or death must be filed within 3 years after the injury. 3 years. You have 3 years. Supervisors say, oh, too bad. It's been too long. You can't report your injury anymore. But the rule is 3 years, okay? You can go back and get help. You can go back, report your injury, and get all your time back, all your money back. You can be made whole financially if you know that the window's not closed yet. You have 3 years.
Yep. Kimberly Carr said, if you get a case accepted finally after 8 months and a physician is asking for surgery, 2 questions. 1, how long do they have to approve it? And 2, how long can we wait once they approve surgery to actually do the surgery? Please and thank you for your answer. So appreciated. New York, Rochester, Buffalo, pretty please.
Gotcha.
We know that you want us to come there, yes.
So you can have surgery when a doctor thinks it's needed and it's approved by Department of Labor. You can do surgery anytime you want to. There's no time frame. You can get the treatment at your convenience. Nobody can force you to do it at other times. But the first part of that question, could you read it to me again, please?
How long do they have to approve it?
To approve the claim. If you get a case accepted, finally, after 8 months, and physician's asking for surgery, 2 questions. 1, how long do they have to approve it? Okay, they have 72 hours from the request of pre-authorization to give authorization. So the rule is they have basically 3 days to approve it, and you can have your surgery anytime once it's approved.
Yeah. Melissa Campbell said, I have 4 hours a day, limited duty, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m., and my supervisor will not work with my hours so I can get to my PT and doctor visits.
All right. Get a printout of your appointments for your doctor and your PT. Give it to your supervisor and say, this is advance notice, I'm going to be off. When your claim is not approved, though, they can give you a hard time. You need your claim approved. It's so frustrating. But once it's approved, the rules and the law says that you can be at the doctor or therapy for up to 4 hours of your work shift and get paid on a CA7 using LWAP. But you have to have your claim approved. So if your claim's not approved, then that's what you have to focus on. You have to get it approved. Go to a doctor that knows how to fix whatever problem is keeping it from being approved.
Yeah. Renee Marie said, when your coworkers hurt, warn them of their rights and show them the CA10. Don't let anyone go through this BS.
That's right. Right. That's right. My second book, the subtitle of Breaking OWCP Volume 2, is You Are Not Alone. I wrote that, and many of you have been here and have heard me say it, but it's not, don't sing the song.
I didn't sing it. I'm just singing it in my head.
She's in her head singing You're Not Alone. I promise you, if I would have thought ahead, I would have said something else, but You're Not Alone. Just to avoid the singing.
I didn't sing, though.
But now in my head, I'm singing it, and so are you. Okay, you're all singing it, too. But You're Not Alone means you don't let someone else be alone. It's not just me. Look, I can, whoever shows up, I'm going to teach you. And if you call, I'm going to help you. And if you send a message, I'm going to give you the right answer. But you have a reach of people that I don't know yet. And you can help them not be alone by letting them know this stuff exists. Letting them know that we're here teaching, that there are these books, Breaking OWCP, that help. And you can show them the CA10. You can tell them where the doctors are that get claims accepted. Don't let someone suffer. Imagine if it was you. Or like I train the doctors, what if it was your mother?
Yeah.
If it was your mother, what would you do? You would fight like hell to get the claim accepted.
I would.
I would. So what I want you to do is look around and who needs help? Don't let people be out there all by themselves. You can help people just by showing them where the information's at.
I think he would fight for my mom more than I fight for my mom.
Yeah.
Kelly said, does this apply to DOL? I was just sent to a neurologist by DOL for further details.
Yeah, they do that. They're going to send you sometimes to second opinion doctors. You have to go to those, just go. And whatever the second opinion doctor comes up with, take it to your treating doctor and let them do something about it.
George Montoya said, are these laws applicable to LEO personnel?
Law enforcement officers that are federal employees are definitely covered by these laws as well.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Federal firefighters, federal police, like a lot of the federal police.
Like the law enforcement at the VA hospitals,
yeah.
Anybody that's a federal law enforcement officer, FBI, CIA, DEA, Border Patrol.
Yeah, we work with all of those guys.
If you're federal law enforcement, you work on a VA hospital.
Anybody in AFGD.
On a base. Yeah, all of you are covered by this.
Yeah.
Great question. Fantastic question.
Ron said, Black Sharpie method for CA17 if you want management. Don't fill out that left side. Tell him, Chris.
So, Ron, today I was teaching this doctor about the CA17, and I said, when the claim's approved, they're required to give you a CA17. And if your patient has an approved claim and the supervisor won't give you one, then go to federalinjurycenters.com and print your own CA17. And on side A that says, supervisor, take a Sharpie and write the truth. The truth is, this is not filled out because the supervisor refused to do it.
Fill it, yep.
And we're not trying to get the supervisor in trouble, although it is a hammer. Okay, that black Sharpie can be a hammer. We're not trying to get them in trouble. What we're trying to do is explain to whoever's reading it why side A is not filled out.
Yeah.
We want it filled out, but we can't make a supervisor do anything, but somebody else can. So we write with a black Sharpie, the supervisor refused to fill this out.
Yeah.
And then that doesn't happen again.
Rich Ray say, we use your forms, Chris, it works. And Rich Ray is the Staten Island NALC president. So,
yeah, he knows. I'm glad you're using the forms. Everybody should go to OWCPchats.com, and I've got forms for changing treating doctors because you have to write a letter. So I've got a form that shows you how to write the letter. I've got a form for getting a CA16. I've got a form for how to report your injury so the supervisor doesn't prevent you from doing it because it puts the laws in there. I'm about to go over that right now. A form for how to get paid on a CA7, and probably some other things. But go there and get those forms. There's like 5 or 6 of them. Print them out. And if there's a problem you guys are having and you think, and I see it's happening a lot, I'll create a document that will help you stop having that problem too.
Yeah. Tony White, where are you? Duchess said, Tony White, I need you watching every Wednesday night. I'm calling you out, Tony White. And Jessica said, go to your own PCP or orthopedic?
No. I mean, you can. Look, you can go to your own doctor, but you better write a magnificent, like the best winning, most detailed employee statement of your life, explaining what happened, and then give that to your doctor and make them incorporate that into their narrative. Use my employee statement form on on OWCPchats.com. and breakingowcp.com. Use that employee statement form to give your doctors some better information to write a better narrative to get your claim approved. All right, one more question, then I'm going to go to the next thing.
What if your union won't fight for you? Rich Ray, this is something you might want to step in, or any of the AFGE people, or any steward or union presidents on here.
Yeah, my experience, thank God, is the union people that I'm friends with will fight for you. Like, they wake up in the morning and they fight for you for breakfast. So that's what they want to do. I am aware and have been told about certain union reps that won't. And I know of, certain that won't. I'll leave it at that. I don't want to be mean. Don't take no for an answer. Fight for yourself. Move up the chain. If a local person won't help you, find an area person, a district person. Go to national. Do what it takes. Call someone else at another local. Don't sit at the red light hoping it turns green and you're sitting there all night long. Okay, eventually you're going to have to go to the bathroom. Run the red light. So do what it takes to run the red light and get help. I'm sorry if that's you and you're on here not getting help. But thankfully, most of the union folks that I know will give you incredible help. And most of them are willingly getting trained by me so that they know what help to give.
Ron Speakman said, fight for yourself. You have to be your own advocate. And I see a lot of you on here answering other people's questions with the right answer. That's
Thanks
great.
for giving the right answer.
But you have to learn this stuff to be your own advocate, for sure.
That's right, and Ron will. Ron's a Marine. In the old days, I would have said Ron used to be a Marine. But I was in Tucson with a friend of ours who does work comp out there, and his wife's dad has passed. He was a letter carrier and a Marine. And I said to her, so you're telling me your dad was a letter carrier and a Marine? And she stopped me. She wouldn't even let me go on. She goes, no, he's still a Marine. Okay, he's passed away, but once a Marine, always a Marine.
Yep.
Anyways, Ron Speakman, that's you, and you know it.
I'm going to read this one before Chris goes to the next law.
All right, and then I'm going to go to the next thing.
Rich Ray. To all city carriers who are not in their 90-day probation, management needs just cause to remove you. Being injured on the job is not corrective. It's absolutely punitive. Do not be afraid. You all are collective bargaining unit employees. Start acting like it. Go to your stewards.
Boom. That's a mic drop moment right there. Your collective bargaining employees act like it.
Yep.
That's right. So let me say this. That's actually a perfect bridge to what I'm going to talk about next. All right, so the best hammer I've got. Everything looks like a nail to me right now, just so you know. It is a crime to prevent you from filing a work injury claim. Anybody hear brakes screeching? Okay, it's a crime to prevent you from filing a work injury claim. And this happens. Your supervisors are trying to stop you from filing a work injury claim. They're harassing you. They're retaliating against you. They're threatening you. 20 CFR 10.16. Write this down. Get the book, actually. It's page 132 of the first book. 20 CFR 10.16. What criminal and civil penalties may be imposed in connection with a claim under FECA? So FECA is the Federal Employees Compensation Act. That's the law that governs federal workers' comp. This is why you're here. Okay, you're here watching this because we have law and we're using that law. But check this out. Letter A of 20 CFR 10.16 says, a number of statutory provisions make it a crime to file a false or fraudulent claim or statement with the government in connection with a claim under the FECA, or to wrongfully impede a FECA claim. So let me break that down for just a second. It says a number of statutory provisions make it a crime to file a false statement. On the back of the CA1 form, the supervisor has about 4 places where they can say something bad about you. If they knowingly and willfully say something that's wrong, that's false, they can go to jail for that.
Yep.
It's a crime. It is a crime to lie about you and your work injury. It's a crime. That's what the law says. A crime. It also says it's a crime to wrongfully impede a FECA claim. Well, would it wrongfully impede a claim to tell you would be fired? Yeah, because if you know you're going to be fired or you think it, you won't report your injury. You won't file your claim.
Right.
Well, to threaten you is a crime. Mm-hmm. Would it wrongfully impede you if someone says, well, you can do it, but we're going to send you 100 miles away for a limited duty assignment.
No.
That would wrongfully impede your claim. If someone told you, don't you file this claim, if you do that, I'm going to make your life hell, would that wrongfully impede your claim? All of those things are a crime. 20 CFR 10.16 letter A says it's a crime to do that. And the U.S. Code, the United States Code, 18 U.S.C. 1922, 18 U.S.C. 1922, says whoever induces, compels, or directs an injured employee to forgo filing an injury claim shall be fined, imprisoned, or both. So let me break that down. Whoever induces, compels, or directs an injured employee to forgo filing an injury claim. So how would someone induce, compel, or direct you to not file a claim? I'm going to fire you if you file that claim. Would that induce, compel, or direct you to not file a claim? Well, whoever does that shall fined, imprisoned, or both. And OSHA, the Occupational Safety and Health Administration,
1-800-321-OSHA.
1-800-321-OSHA. If any supervisor doesn't allow you to file your claim,
contact OSHA.
They say, no, if you do that, you're going to be fired. Or, I don't have time. I'm not going to let you file your claim. I'm not going to let you report. I don't have time to sit down and fill these forms out with you. We're not doing this. Whatever, okay?
Contact OSHA.
OSHA says on their website, it is illegal for an employer to fire, demote, transfer, or otherwise retaliate against a worker for using their rights under the law. Well, OSHA has 9 employee rights, and number 6 is the right to report a work injury. It is illegal for an employer to fire, demote, transfer, or otherwise retaliate against a worker for using their rights under the law. If you believe you have been retaliated against in any way, file a whistleblower complaint within 30 days of the alleged retaliation. It says if a worker believes an employer has retaliated against them for exercising their safety and health rights, they should contact their local OSHA office right away. A whistleblower complaint must be filed with OSHA within 30 calendar days from when the retaliating decision was made and communicated to the worker. So when a supervisor says to you, I'm not going to let you fill out this form, or they say to you, if you fill out this form, I'm going to fire you.
Don't stab them.
Don't stab them.
Yeah.
It would be way better to call OSHA.
Yeah.
1-800-321-OSHA, and you have 30 days to call. What will happen is OSHA will go in and they'll investigate. And they won't just investigate your claim. They'll investigate everyone that ever happened in your station.
And everything around that's going on in there, they look with a fine teeth and comb about everything.
Fine tooth comb is the way we say that, babe.
What do I say? What did I say?
Fine teeth and comb.
Yeah, fine teeth and comb.
Well, as long as you have fine teeth
I
and a
have
comb.
teeth.
Yeah, your hair is good, your teeth are good, everything's good. But they'll look at it with a fine tooth comb also.
Anyways, George.
Okay, just so you know, that's our last roll on regulation.
Okay.
We're 7 minutes over. We can keep going, but I don't have others.
Yeah, we have
But before you read George's thing, let me say this.
questions.
So what I've done is I've said it's a crime for supervisors to not let you report. They're required to give you a CA-16. You need to choose COP. Okay? They have 10 days to turn this stuff in, and they got to give you copies of everything. If they don't, you're getting hosed, and we're not doing that anymore. So the way we take supervisors out to the woodshed is we use the rules, the laws, the regulations, and we hammer them. We file grievances. We call OSHA. We file EEO complaints. Okay, you do what it takes so they don't, labor board charges. Do what it takes so they don't do this to you again, so they don't do it to someone else ever again. What you do to protect yourself will help protect somebody else in the future.
Correct. Christina, I see that you're on here. Hello. Christina is a TSA president over in Tampa. She's such a sweet lady. We met with her.
Yeah, we left a bunch of brochures at your TSA office the other day.
Yeah, so if anybody in Tampa gets any random brochures, and this is for the supervisors and presidents, I just kind of like, here, you want this? I even left copies of books.
Yeah.
And as soon as we left, they started reading it. So it's
we want that.
pretty
We want everyone to
interesting.
have this information, so I just give it away.
We love our TSA people. So George Montoya said, I was given an 8-point letter after being our only 4 months surgery, physical. Oh, okay.
I know what he said.
And I'm a law enforcement officer. They forced me back before I was completely healed, causing me further injuries.
Yeah, so they can't do that when your claim's accepted. You have a CA-17. Your doctor takes you off of work. They're required to follow your doctor's restrictions, period.
Yeah. Duchess said, I had 14 people tell me my CPTSD, chronic anxiety disorder, and chronic depression will never get approved. All was wrong. Case was accepted.
That's right.
We tell you guys.
They get approved all the time.
Yeah, so when you guys have PTSD or any type of harassment, what we try to tell you to do is file your claim and then go see a psychiatrist, a therapist, or a counselor for 2 to 3 visits, and then come and see a regular DOL doctor like Federal Interest Centers or whatever it is. And then they collaborate together, write a really good narrative, and normally it gets accepted. For the ones that we know, it has gotten accepted.
100% of the time.
So your PTSD and the harassment and your fear, it does get accepted if you go to the right doctor.
And it's not always harassment,
Right.
but any mental health condition can be approved.
Somebody put the link for the book already. Oh.
www.breakingowcp.com.
Mary Golden, I know you're on here. Can you put that on there and then I'll pin it after? You can start your case on the DOL website.
That's eComp.
Yes.
That's exactly right. Go to eComp, register. It's Google eComp. Okay, to be clear, go to Google and search OWCP eComp, E-C-O-M-P. It'll be the first thing in Google. Click on it, register, and you can upload documents right there.
Deborah says, can I still get a schedule award after I'm retired?
Oh, I'm glad you asked that. Deborah, you can get a schedule award as long as you're still alive.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if you're retired or not.
Everybody can get a schedule award if they're still living. Okay, so don't wait until later.
How does your acceptance claim be affected if you resign?
That doesn't matter. If you quit your job and you reported your injury prior to quitting, you can still get your claim accepted.
Lori says, I work for the post office and I was told to send my documents to get paid to HR. Is that true?
Yeah, your CA7 goes to somebody in management. HR is part of management. So it definitely goes there first. They fill out page 2 and send everything in. But get a copy of everything yourself. Like, you need all your documentation to go with it so you can actually get paid. So keep a copy of everything in case they don't send it all in.
Duchess said, I still need to know how to fill out my 52 plus CA7s. I watched the videos. They're still wrong. Been off work over a year. The bull, Shavik, they're with me.
Okay, give us a private message, please, and somebody will reach out to you and help you get it filled out right.
Chris, what do you attach to CA7 to document management not scheduling you before your claim is approved? Would it be Article 13 of the rule agreement stating there is no light duty?
Well, that's for you rule carriers out there. You can definitely attach that, but for you non-rule carriers, you can't. Everyone else you're attaching, if you're a rule carrier, attach that too. For everyone else, you attach your CA17, CA20, a disability narrative written by your doctor explaining why you're off of work, and any printouts of any appointments that you had to be at, and that was where you were instead of work. Print that out too and attach all that.
Renee said, management doesn't have the right to your diagnosis or anything else. The doctor should be faxing it directly to DOL.
So that's true, except for on a CA20 and a CA17, there is a place where the doctor writes the diagnosis. But that's perfectly fine. Management has a right to those 2 forms. So our doctors tell the truth on the forms, but management has no right to anything else, including they can't call the doctor. They can't talk to the doctor. They can't have anything but a CA17 and a CA20.
Melissa Ross said, I commend you always use...
Recommend.
Oh my God, I'm not word. I'm not. I recommend you always use ecomp.dol.gov to upload documents. File CA 1, 2, or 7 and 7A. This makes management held accountable for the time frames to complete things. In my district, we are all still required to fax CA7 and CA7As to the HRM team, but always fill them out on eComp as well. Accountability is so important.
100% right. Read Melissa Ross's message and burn it into your memory. She's 100% right.
Mary said, I hope my friend calls a lawyer you recommended.
Well, if so, she'll be successful. Or he.
Martha Ibera said, there's a carrier on light duty who is working 5-hour days, and when I asked her why she isn't getting paid by OWCP, she said her injury comp rep refused to pay her after she turned in a CA7. I was wondering if injury comp is allowed to determine that. Phoenix, Arizona.
No, so when you turn your CA7 in, that goes into OWCP. You're getting paid not from your agency, you're getting paid from Department of Labor. If your supervisor is not turning that stuff in, you have a serious problem. File a grievance. All right, we're only going to answer a couple more questions here because it's been a little bit more than an hour. So Ask her.
Oh, Renee
Couple
said,
more.
off topic, Gini. I love your makeup. It's so pretty. Thanks. Follow me on, what is my thing called?
Beauty and
Beauty and the Cocktail on Facebook. Rich Ray said, the doctors are our biggest challenge. These doctors just don't understand what to write. It's very stressful.
That's right, and Rich, we're this close. I've been saying it for a while, but New York's tough. It's the state that makes it hard for me. So we're getting close. We almost have a doctor there in Staten Island.
Kevin Hall said, had a failed back surgery this year. Pain is even worse. Surgeon put in for a second, more detailed surgery to stabilize the back. DOL has denied surgery but says it must be now reviewed by district medical advisor. Meanwhile, my back is at a 10, constantly on a cane to get around. Depression setting in, may never work again.
Hold on, go back. Okay. All right, Kevin. This is a story I hear all the time. Make sure your doctor has written a narrative report that very clearly explains why this surgery is medically necessary and how the surgery is related to the work injury. That'll get it approved. If you want, I'll be happy to review the narrative your doctor writes. You just send it to us here on Facebook.
Queenie Nunez said, so if management is going around letting everyone know about your medical condition, they can get a hold of Department of Justice?
Yeah, do that for sure and file a grievance with your union.
Yeah. Misty said, how do I get paid for my mileage?
There's a form, Misty, called an OWCP 957. You can find every form at federalinjurycenters.com and at OWCPchats.com. So you can get an OWCP 957 form there, and that's how you document and get paid back for your mileage.
Anthony Williams said, my doctor keeps feeling that I have a herniated disc and developed spinal stenosis. They don't deny it. They don't answer it. Postal worker.
Well, they're not denying or answering it because your doctor hasn't written a report called a diagnosis expansion report that adds those new diagnoses, those new conditions to your current approved claim. If your claim's not approved, then you have a different problem, but it sounds like it's approved.
Cleveland, Ohio has no help.
Oh, we're getting there.
Doctors
We're so
are
close.
lawyers.
We're so close in Cleveland. Hang in there. All right, so we're gonna answer the rest of the questions offline. We've got
Hold
a
on.
team. We've got a team of people that are going to be reading these and answering questions that I didn't get to. Us as well. She's going to answer 2 more. We could do this all night long, but we'll keep answering your questions, so you can keep typing them in, and somebody will get to you.
What do you do when the supervisor doesn't know anything about OWCP and does not turn in your COA1 for a week? And this was after I contacted the district OWCP person, who then calls to push them to complete the form. Totally unbelievable.
So file a grievance and contact OSHA at 1-800-321-OSHA and ask if that's a violation. Is it a violation that they're not turning in my CA1 form?
Kim said, I think I need to clarify my question. I'm on comp now, so if I retire or resign, will I continue to get my workers' comp? I'm still being treated.
No, you won't continue to get paid if you retire, but you can continue to get medical help.
Donna Smith said, you suggested I have a CA-17 filled up by the supervisor and by the doctor. I have an upcoming doctor appointment, but supervisor has not responded what I should do. I've been out since January with fracture in my back, 3 months without pay, was granted 6 weeks of SL. My CA2, here.
CA2 was denied due to fifth element being notation from MD. I have since obtained such notation and uploaded to eComp with letter of appeal. Still haven't heard anything back. I just want to get approved to be protected. I'm calling HR to see what the status is. HR doesn't know anything about the status. Call your claims examiner and find out the status. You're going to get a letter in the mail that'll either be an approval or denial. If you get a denial, like 6 out of 7 people do, the last page of your denial letter will be what's called an appeal request form. You will fill out and check reconsideration on your appeal request form. Take the denial letter back to your doctor, have them read it, and determine why, based on that letter, your claim was denied, and have them write a new narrative and fix it.
Charmaine, you can still fill out your mileage form. She said, got paid to go to DOL doctors for a second opinion, but I wasn't notified about mileage.
Yeah.
Is it too late to
No.
file for it? Also, I will be getting an injection next week. Do I have to use my leave from when I'm out, or does work comp pay for me to days missed?
So an OWCP 957 form will pay for your mileage, and when your claim's accepted, if you have to be out, fill out a CA7 and maybe a CA7A. Find all these forms on our website, federalinjurycenters.com or OWCPchats.com. And at federalinjurycenters.com, we have a video that tells you how to fill out your CA7 form. So take a look at that. It's like 15 minutes long.
I had a patient ask if retirement benefits are affected by OWCP claims.
Well, only in so much as long as you're out of work, it's like everything is held at your pre-injury status. So there is that. But talk to your union for more information.
Michelle, you said you've been working at the post office for 35 years. You want to fill out your CA1 or CA2 before you guys retire. And then you can still have your benefits even after you retire. Okay? Donna, you said you need to talk to us.
Yeah, give us a Facebook message.
Give us a call or message us on Facebook at 877-787-OWCP. There's a lot of still questions on here. We're going to go ahead and take care of that tonight.
Yeah, that was awesome. So look, there's been so many of you here. We really appreciate it. Keep sharing this. Keep letting people know that you're here. Throughout the next few days, we'll do our best to go back and answer the questions that weren't answered. We'll just go in and type the answers underneath your comment. We'll just reply to you. For any questions that aren't answered thoroughly, you can call us or give us a Facebook message right here. You can send it in and somebody's going to take a look at it. We have somebody whose whole job is to answer your questions. So they're all going to get answered. If you're somebody who somehow your question didn't get answered, go again. Keep coming back. Send us a Facebook message specifically with your question. We will get to you, guaranteed.
Here's one. I was told by a manager that you don't want to report an injury as it would prevent you from moving to another job.
Well, okay, when you're hurt, everything is prevented. You've got to get better, and then you go to the next job. That's it. That's ridiculous.
Okay, guys. There's a lot of questions.
Yeah,
we're gonna have
normally
our
we get
team.
to all of them, but you guys had so many. There were so many of you watching. We're going to have to get people on here to be just answering questions as we go. But we'll get to you. Thank you so much for being here tonight. And remember to go to federalinjurycenters.com or to OWCPchats.com. You can get any OWCP form. If you go to OWCPchats.com, you can download all of my free forms that I've made just for you to solve your problems. If you go to breakingowcp.com, you can get my 2 books for $8.97 a piece if you buy them together and free shipping. So they're really cheap. Get the information so that you have the information I was reading to you tonight and so much more. It was really good having you all here tonight. Be sure you're sharing. Let your friends know, your coworkers, and your coworkers who are your friends. Let them know that we're doing this, that we're here helping you, making sure you don't have, the problems that everyone else is having when they get hurt at work. We can all together avoid these problems. You don't have to be fired when you're hurt at work. You don't have to lose money. You don't have to lose time. You don't have to stress about how you're going to make your car payment and your house payment. You don't have to worry about what your supervisor thinks. And if you're being retaliated against, you don't have to lose sleep over that. Your supervisor should lose sleep over that because they're breaking the law. So we're going to show you what to do to take care of yourself. That's why you're here. So those of you that are here regulars, we're really glad you're here. If this was your first night, you came to a really good night. You came to Woodshed Night. We don't do Woodshed Night every week, but we do it a few times a year because it's needed. So we're talking about rules, laws, and regulations to help you not get screwed over by your supervisor.
Yeah.
So thanks for being here tonight. Thanks for sharing. We hope you will share with more people. One request we never ask, we'd like you to put our Wednesday night chats brochures in your break rooms. If you're somebody who would like to do that, send us a message and we will email you the brochure. You can print it out and you can post it in your break room. That way people know this is happening and you can help more people get here and get this information. So we'll email your brochure to print out. I don't care if you print in black and white, no problem. But get it posted on your break room along with the CA10. Post your CA10 as well. If you don't have a CA10, you can get it at federalinjurycenters.com.
Yeah, and don't forget, if you guys want us to come to your union meetings and educate, do Zoom training or Skype training if you guys are still doing that, we're still available. Message me on here and say, Zoom training, Skype training, in-person union meetings. So since we're flying again, we can come out. And don't forget to like, follow, and share. I'm trying to get to 15,000.
Yeah, if you're here and you haven't hit the like button and the follow button, now's the right time to do that. So
Click
hit the like and follow button.
Follow.
And then just hit share. Let it go into your news feed so other people see it's happening.
And don't
All right.
forget, when you share at the end of the month, we give away to those people that shared the most a $100 gift card of your choice.
And
So
it'd be wrong if I didn't tell you this. Federal Injury Centers, you can go to federalinjurycenters.com. At the top of the page, click locations, and then click map of locations. And there you're going to see a list of every
all
office
locations.
we have. These are trained offices that know how to get your claims approved and know how to help you navigate these problems that you're dealing with. That's what it's there for. So it's one thing for me to tell you this stuff, but now you're going, okay, now what? You know, you said no doctors can get my claim approved. Well, that's right, unless they're trained. Ours are trained. That's our whole purpose.
And you will see that the map, everything is kind of shifted over to the southwest, southeast.
Oh, and up into Maryland and Boston.
So we just want you to know that more offices are coming. By the end of August, we'll have another round of doctors ready to go.
Yeah, we're working hard.
And next week, we are going to cover how to file your CA7s, what to attach, and schedule awards.
How to get paid.
Yeah.
All right, so that's it. Thank you so much for watching tonight. We could do this all night because the questions keep coming and we really like it, but I'm hungry, so I need to go eat before Aruba closes. So thank you for being here. I'm really grateful for having you. It's nice. We're on the road, driving throughout the east coast of Florida, going down to Naples tomorrow.
Yes, and then we're going home.
Training doctors, and then we finally get to go home. So if my eyes look tired, it's only because they are. We're driving around on our great American Florida road trip, or our excellent adventure.
Gini and
Chris's excellent Florida road trip.
OWCP road trip.
Yeah, Florida.
Watch out for it. We'll be in your area soon.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. We'll see you next week, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Mwah, mwah, mwah.
Adios.
Bye.